You have just quantum leaped. Okay, let me explain this to you. This is going to be such a fun reading because when I tune into your energy, I'm just seeing like not only vast jumping, but it's like there are small variations between local universes where, for example, many universes exist like extremely close to each other, where there's just like miniature changes that happen. Like the differences are extremely subtle. For example, let's say that you drank a beverage in the morning and that beverage may change, right? So instead of let's come up with an example, spirit. Okay, let's say you drink a glass of water in the morning and then you drink a glass of warm water instead of room temperature water or cold water or whatever it is, right? So that's like a small shift that can happen between in timelines or universes that echo each other, right? But the thing with you is that the further you move away from your local cluster of timelines, the more drastically reality actually changes. And if you think about reality as not just one timeline, but instead it's a field that's vibrating as probability waves, and you're literally collapsing. I'm hearing just probabilities that seem like a wild card because it's so far-fetched from the things that you used to do or the things that you used to experience, or you're simply streamlining a parallel version of you into your current timeline. And I'm seeing it as like your current timeline is like really confused because it's like, have we got the wrong fractal of Elizabeth, Jennifer, like Louise? Like, have we got the wrong like parallel? I'm just saying that where it's so funny, where it's you're literally embodying a parallel version of self while inside of your current universe. I'm going to explain a little bit more about this quantumly for you. I'll probably throw up some illustrations so that you can follow along. I know you guys enjoy them. I enjoy making them and incorporating them. And then we're also going to do a reading of this, okay, in regards to, I guess, the different characters or octave in which you're embodying now. So each person exists within a localized cluster of universes. These are timelines that are mostly statistically likely based on your belief systems, your emotional state, actions, subconscious programmings, things like that. And within this cluster, the variations are really small. Your life might look slightly different, but it remains within the same general storyline. And in order to reach a completely different life, you have to move beyond this local cluster. So what I'm seeing is the jumping pad principle. And if you guys have watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, there's like this jumping pad that they create by doing something that they really wouldn't do in their current timeline. So for example, in order for them to like vast jump, they would have to like cut in between the web of their fingers with paper and create paper cuts, because that's something that they wouldn't do. They would swap their shoes around, right, from right foot to left foot, and they'd completely invert things. The lights just went out. Okay, the lights just went out. Give me a second. So even that, we're taking that as confirmation. The fact that the lights just went out, again, this is like you have just shifted during this message. Anyway, when we talk about like a landing pad, it's a direct leap into a drastically different universe that's not usually possible because you begin literally becoming like a wild card. Okay, that's what I'm seeing for you. So a direct leap to a drastically different universe is not usually possible, but instead there must be an intermediate timeline. This is what can be thought of as a jumping pad into another universe because it sits at the edge of your local cluster, and it literally becomes a bridge from your current reality into your desired reality. Now let's talk about the role of anomalous actions, which is about becoming the anomaly and beginning to shake up their algorithm within your own life. So one way to enter or access these edge timelines is through statistically improbable actions, which would be things that you typically wouldn't do. So if you usually take the right path, or take the left path, take the road that's less traveled, break your normal pattern, even if it's in a tiny way. Don't underestimate how those tiny decisions creates branching universes that actually deviate you from the original timeline that you were on. And you can also contract your own conditioning, right? You can kind of break your own conditioning when it comes to your comfort zone and actually actively disrupt that. And I see that as something that you've already been doing, where something could feel unusual or illogical, but that's quite literally the point. In order to have that jumping pad, you must act extreme. In a sense, you create the anomaly within the algorithm of your own life because reality reorganizes itself around predictable patterns. So when you introduce an anomaly, it shifts the probability distribution. This can place you on a timeline at the edge of your local cluster, which becomes the jumping pad for further shifts. However, shifting timelines is not purely mechanical, it's actually vibrational. So to remain in a new timeline, you must be the frequency to match it. If your vibration does not match the timeline you attempt to enter, something interesting happens. You're rejected back into a nearby divergent universe. This is why some people often attempt to change, but then they snap back into their old life, and it's because their vibrational state was not in resonance with their new reality. Now, how do you shift this, right? This is the paradox of acceptance. If you can, first of all, unconditionally just like accept where you are fully within this present moment, and you're not resisting that, you're not running from that, but instead you're just hopefully embracing it and yourself despite your circumstances, then you'll instantaneously neutralize your own energy, and so much more becomes accessible to you in that moment. The moment that you stop and actually say, I fully accept what this is or where I am, you stop generating internal contradiction, because you're no longer in resonance with the absence of this thing, but instead you instantaneously neutralize and stabilize your frequency field, and then new possibilities can emerge. Temptation creates frequency contradiction. So when you act in ways that oppose your deeper truth, you actually become misaligned with the timeline you're attempting to enter. Your actions send mixed signals into the probability field, and this prevents the collapse of the desired timeline. When awareness leaves the present moment, the subconscious begins guiding the trajectory of life. This is when people feel like life is happening to them rather than through them. But when that awareness returns to the here and now, something changes, because you become lucid inside of your own life. Instead of drifting through timelines unconsciously, you begin navigating them intentionally. If we can begin to see failure as something that actually becomes a fractal branching, but we can actually branch off into new universes, then each failure simply branches off into another timeline where success occurs. Every version of you is exploring different outcomes simultaneously. The fractals of reality are infinite. At every moment, you're streamlining one version of yourself out of infinite possibilities. The version of you that becomes real is the one that resonates with your current frequency in time and space. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions act as selection mechanism. At the deepest level, everything is a vibrating wave of particles. Reality exists as a field of probability until observation collapses it into form. Your awareness participates in this collapse, which means your state of consciousness influences which timeline crystallizes into experience. So you're not trying to create a new reality, instead you're selecting one that already exists. Timeline shifting is simply the art of becoming the vibrational match to the life that you want to experience, okay, or that you desire, and becoming all it is and whom you desire. So let's go ahead and get a quick closing out message for you guys, because my camera is going to collapse, okay, just like you're collapsing time. I want to take a look at a character real quick in the Magic of the Gathering. You have two. The first one is, hubris. Okay, super interesting. So this is like an Icarus energy. And then you also have memories. Okay, this is very deep cards, to be honest with you. And then you also have transformation at the base. Hubris. I don't think hubris has actually ever come out, but it is an Icarus energy. So this is the first. I'm hearing the shadow aspect. Oh my gosh. Okay, definitely red. Okay, so we are often shown society's version of the most exceptional lives in human existence from around the globe. This can stir up the demon of comparison that can give us a deep feeling of inadequacy, which then kindles an imbalanced desire for things and experiences to make us feel more significant, more lovable, or more worthy. How can we drop comparison and be okay with ourselves and enjoy an ordinary day? If you're pushing yourself too hard or too far, you may be scorning your wings. Take time to see what is driving your ambitions. Super interesting. And then you have memories, which is almost like a Medusa type of energy. And it talks about the past and almost like a past you and how you're breaking that. So memories here, right? Memories talks about you can reinvent yourself at any time that you choose. There is no way that you are. But if you don't become aware of this, you'll be locked into one way of being. If you feel stuck like a record, let go of the myth that you're only one way and free yourself to consciously choose what it is that you want to do in each moment. I'm hearing be a surprise even to yourself. Okay? Like there's something around you being a mystery even to yourself at this stage of your life of, what will you do next? I wonder what it is that you're going to do next, right? There's something there. So not being attached to certain memories that have kept you almost like frozen within time. All right, let me go ahead and get a Oh, Cosmos Oracle message, constellation. So you're not just one self, but you're a constellation of selves. You may want to watch that reading because I talk about you being a multidimensional being. And then you also have tidal force. So with constellation of selves, this talks about connecting dots. And I'm seeing it as you connecting to many fractals of yourself through the multiverse, where you may be more of the quiet one. To some you're quiet, to some you're loud, to some you're a lesson, whereas to others you're just like a passing frequency through their experience. And there is beauty in that. There's beauty in you being so many things to yourself alone, where you can be a comedian to yourself and you can make yourself laugh, but then you can also be a deep therapist to yourself. You can also become your source of strength, but also weakness and compassion. So, and seeing that compassion as the strength, but I'm just seeing that for you, like lean into that, and play into the polar opposite of what it is that you have been experiencing, right? If you've been experiencing stagnancy, well, what would it be like to experience motion, right? If you feel like you need to be confident before you take action, well, what happens if you take action and then become confident? That's what I'm seeing. There's almost like an inverse that you're kind of playing with within your own universe. So allow yourself to lean into that more, my love. I'm gonna go ahead and love and leave you right there though, because my camera is going to die. But yeah, let me know how this resonated with you. I hope we'll touch on this more deeply. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing because we'd love to have you around. Personal reading details also down below. Also check out Auto Spirit if you're looking for some high quality AAA grade jewelry. 1 of the proceeds are donated towards Auto Sanctuaries, and you have 2 discount codes for that in the description box down below. Until next time, bye.